When the BMW S1000RR went on sale for the 2009 model year, it was a powerful statement to brands from Italy and Japan. BMW staked their claim as the creators of the most sophisticated and performance-focused bike on the market. Over the decade that followed, the S1000RR saw numerous updates and improvements, but by 2016 it had lost some of its advantage as the Japanese and Italians began to catch up. In 2019, BMW gave their supersport a complete overhaul, and the company claims they have once again set the benchmark for this class. After spending a few days with this newest generation S1000RR, we want to see if the benchmark has in fact been met. The first generation S1000RR hit the market in 2009, and it was a technological marvel with factory equipment that included ABS, different traction modes, and a quick shifter. The bike was also extremely powerful with a claimed 193 horsepower, pulling a slight 450 pounds. The second generation made its debut in 2014, and while there were some significant upgrades, it wasn't quite as revolutionary a bike as the first iteration. For this newest generation, BMW identified three goals they sought to achieve. They wanted to make the bike faster, lighter, and easier to control. And those goals are absolute music to my ears. The one we have here is a 2020 BMW S1000RR in Hockenheim Silver Metallic. The third generation bike was first introduced for the 2019 model year, and this 2020 model is virtually identical to the 2019 model as well as the 2021 model, save a few trim and paint options. Of course, we have to mention the new 2021 M1000RR, which is the first M model from BMW Motorrad. The M-RR, much like BMW's M cars, increases the levels of performance. Output is 212 horsepower, and the bike weighs an absolutely ridiculous 423 pounds. As the foundation for that machine, the 2020 S1000RR easily offers more than enough performance for anyone short of a professional rider. Motorcycles in this class, which sit at the top of the motorcycle performance hierarchy, have a reputation of being visceral, unforgiving, and a bit cumbersome to handle for inexperienced riders. To say the least, motorcycles like the S1000RR can be downright intimidating, and rightfully so. You should definitely have a certain level of comfort, skill, and know-how before hopping on this bike. Taking into consideration BMW's goals of making the bike lighter, faster, and easier to control, it's the easier to control part that truly stands out. Combine lighter weight with more power, and the outcome is a bike that gets up to triple-digit speeds, smoother and quicker than anything I have ever experienced. And it does it while remaining surprisingly docile. So let's look at each of these goals, lighter, faster, easier to control, and see what BMW has done to achieve them. BMW has shaved 25 pounds of weight off of this new bike, and in the world of motorcycles, that's a lot. At the heart of this weight reduction is the all-new aluminum flex frame. The setup allows for the fuel tank to be 30mm thinner and offers better knee grip. In combination with new clip-ons and footrest, BMW claims an improvement to the bike's ergonomics. Most important is the 3-pound weight reduction from the new frame versus the previous generation. The suspension consists of 45mm forks up front and a full floater Pro shock in the rear. Both are manufactured by Marzocchi to BMW specs. The rear is connected to a superbike-derived swing arm that is 11mm longer than the outgoing generation and helps with stability. It also allows the rear shock to sit further from the engine to help reduce heat buildup. Both the front and rear suspensions are fully adjustable. Braking is handled by 320mm rotors up front with 4-piston calipers from Hayes, and a 220mm rotor in the rear with the Brembo single-piston caliper. Nissan provides the master cylinder. The new rotors help shave about a pound off the bike's overall weight compared to the previous generation. BMW is one of the few top-tier bike manufacturers that doesn't take nearly all of their suspension and braking components from Öhlins or Brembo. Obviously, both of those brands are first class, but it's nice to see a manufacturer prove you can have an excellent setup without following what seems to be the current industry standard. The shark gills on the right fairing are significantly smaller, nevertheless they are there and help reduce engine heat up to 10%. The design overall is more streamlined and focused. The heart of the design starts with the headlights, which are now symmetrical and also lighter than the outgoing setup. The LED running lights have a very angry squint that I find great to look at. On each side of the headlights is a cutout on the fairings, which I assume add to the aerodynamics. Sport bike fairings seem to be getting smaller and sleeker, making the frame and engine more visible. As a lover of naked bikes, I welcome more of it. BMW has given the subframe a copper finish, and I'm glad BMW leaves it exposed. This particular bike has a couple of cosmetic changes, most notably the factory graphics have been removed from the fairings, and in the rear the taillight assembly has been swapped out for an NRC setup. It's very simplistic and made up of a single light strip for the brake light and turn signals. The factory exhaust system is 3 pounds lighter than the old setup. This bike has gone a step further with the full Akrapovic racing exhaust and sheds an additional 11 pounds off the bike's weight. The engine produces 205 horsepower at 13,000 RPM and 83 pound-feet of torque at 11,000 RPM. And while max torque may seem peaky at 11,000 RPM, this bike makes at least 81 pound-feet of torque from 5,000 RPM all the way up to 14,500 RPM, which is just shy of the 14,600 RPM red line. That means the torque curve is very flat and very strong throughout the majority of the rev range. The solid torque curve is driven by BMW's shift cam technology. It allows the engine to run on a normal cam profile up to 9,000 RPM, where it switches to a more aggressive profile. It makes Honda's raging on VTEC look silly. There's also a new crankshaft, and it alone sheds over 3 pounds of weight. Together, all these changes to the design, the chassis, and engine reduce the S1000RR's curb weight from 459 pounds to 434 pounds. A while back, we reviewed a 2018 Honda CBR 1000RR and praised it for its lack of weight. This S1000RR is even better. It weighs about the same as that CBR, but everything about the BMW is tuned up a few extra notches. Low weight means the S1000RR is incredibly maneuverable. You can lean this bike with the same confidence you would a 600 and then power out of corners with the urgency of a raging bison. When you decrease weight and add horsepower, naturally you can expect to go faster. Taking advantage of its lower weight and increased power, the S1000RR can get up to triple-digit speed very easily and extremely quick. If you're cruising near the speed limit in 4th gear and you pull the throttle open for just 3 seconds, you will certainly be going double that speed. Nevertheless, if you do the same thing in 2nd or even 3rd gear. This was my first ride on the bike, and it wasn't until I was halfway to my destination that I noticed it was set to rain mode, which softens the throttle and reduces engine torque, making this bike's true potential even more impressive. The bike's torque curve is very meaty and very strong. It will absolutely destroy numbers well over 100 miles per hour. Quite often, people want to see motorcycle reviews where the reviewer is going 200 miles per hour on one wheel. If that's your thing, then good luck, but for your average rider, that's not their reality. You don't need me to do long pulls on this bike to know without any question, it is fast and can and will hold its own against any production bike put next to it. Because more is often seen as better, this particular bike has been fitted with the Brentuning Stage 2 kit. Most notably, this kit adds a claimed 50 horsepower and 40 pound-feet of torque at lower RPMs, and unlocks a bit more peak power, while also removing a flat spot in the power curve. This kit relocates the IAT sensor for a better ambient air reading, removes the flappers in the airbox for better airflow, and quickens gear shifts. I won't pretend to know exactly what all this kit does, but combined with the full Akrapovic exhaust, this bike is not only quicker than stock, but also puts on a nice light show. No question about it, flames make everything a bit cooler. I did do some spirited riding on the S1000RR during a nighttime sprint with some friends, but unfortunately I forgot to change the settings on my camera, so the footage is quite dark. But it became very clear very early on that the S1000RR is inconceivably quick. Even still, it never once felt unmanageable. Every input and output from the bike was smooth, direct, and the S1000RR always felt connected to me, connected to the road, and the lack of weight combined with the strong and smooth power proved to be a deeply satisfying combination. We do real-world reviews on this channel, so we don't do track riding assessments. To be honest, many supersport owners don't spend much time at the track. BMW knows this, and from the outset of developing this third generation, they wanted to make sure the S1000RR would be approachable and well set up for street riding. The different ride modes help with this goal. They include rain, road, dynamic, and race. They each adjust the throttle response, torque curve, ABS, and traction control. These settings allow for quick adjustments as conditions change for better performance. This bike is equipped with BMW's Shift Assist Pro. The quick shifter has up and down functionality and is one of the best quick shifters I've come across. A big part of what makes the S1000RR so incredibly easy to ride is the dynamic damping control, or DDC. It automatically adjusts the suspension settings based on road conditions. It does a good job of smoothing out imperfections on the road and makes street riding feel even more confidence-inspiring. A lot of the controls and adjustments are managed through the 6.5-inch TFT screen. The display is bright, clean, and is more advanced than some displays found in cars. It even comes complete with navigation, although you do have to download an app to your phone and connect through Bluetooth in order to use navigation. This is the first motorcycle I have ridden that has built-in navigation, and I found having directions on the screen was more convenient than having to mount my phone, or if I were going somewhere new or unfamiliar, constantly having to stop to check where I was going. This bike also comes equipped with cruise control, which I found weird to use on a motorcycle, but I imagine it can help with rider wrist fatigue on longer trips. You can work through the menus using the multi-controller on the handlebar. It's fairly intuitive to use. There are quite a bit of buttons on the handlebars, and it may take a minute or two to get comfortable using them. This bike has heated grips, which I found I liked more than I thought I would. All these features come together to make a bike that does everything really well. It's powerful, extremely light, and offers tons of features and technology that make controlling the S1000RR easy to do. The 2020 S1000RR has an MSRP of $16,995. But much like the options you might find on a BMW 5 Series, The S1000RR's price tag can quickly grow once options are selected. The Hockenheim silver metallic paint is $200. Cruise control, heated grips, tire pressure monitoring, and dynamic damping control require the Select package, $1,400. BMW also offers a $1,600 race package and a $1,900 carbon package. If you want to spend more than $22,000 on a motorcycle, the most expensive package for the 2020 S1000RR is the $3,700 M package. The M package adds a number of items that include a lighter battery, carbon fiber wheels, and shaves an additional 8 pounds from the bike's weight, bringing it down to a ridiculous 427 pounds. That's just 8 pounds heavier than the Yamaha R6 with nearly double the horsepower. So the $3,700 is worth it if you're looking for every ounce of performance. The race package and M package also add Ride Modes Pro, which add additional race modes and features like launch control and hill start control. Either way, depending on your options, the price for this bike can easily cross the $20,000 mark. It's possible the box checking approach when building this bike has removed some of the soul the previous generations had, which can still be found with rivals from Ducati and even Yamaha. But regardless of BMW's science over art philosophy, one thing you can't say about the S1000RR is that it hasn't met the goals BMW sought to meet when developing the bike, thanks to BMW's focus on reducing weight and increasing power. Yet as fast as this bike is, the S1000RR is still very approachable and begs you to give it more. But like the first generation, is this the new benchmark? That's a difficult question to answer. There's not much space between the top supersports currently on the market. For me, these bikes would include the BMW S1000RR, Ducati's V4, Aprilia's RS V4, and Yamaha's R1. It's crazy to think that $20,000 is a reasonable asking price for a bike in today's market. None of them are perfect, but they're all packed with modern technology and very powerful engines. And as good as the BMW is, it's not as exciting as the Italian bikes. Although I did find I got more thumbs up and head turns riding this bike than any other in recent memory. BMW has done to this bike the one thing they are absolutely good at, and that's making a straight line straight. Much like their latest cars, BMW has made the S1000RR what they would consider perfect. They've crossed T's and dotted I's in a very German sort of way. While the previous two generations were a bit rough around the edges, this new model was smoother than a $500 bottle of single malt bourbon. I will conclude and say no, the BMW S1000RR is not the new benchmark. Nowadays, bikes in this class are just too good. It's hard to even imagine what a benchmark would be in the $20,000 plus superbike territory. Instead, the S1000RR is quite simply a perfect bike, much like this is a perfectly straight line. There's nothing exactly special about it, but you can't deny its straightness. The aftermarket additions on this particular bike help push the S1000RR a few steps forward in terms of excitement. The flames are cool and the added power suit the chassis well. Out of the box, however, the S1000RR does suffer from BMW's tendency to over-engineer their products. But you know what? Twist the S1000RR's throttle for a few seconds, or lean it hard into a corner, and quite frankly, none of this journalistic commentary will matter. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. You can also find us on Instagram at rideXdrive.